Welcome to the Word in Minutes podcast. I'm your host, Devin Glasgow, and today's episode is titled, Don't Close What God Told You to Keep Open. And we're going to be in Scripture today, Deuteronomy 15, and we'll kick it off in verse 7 and 8. If there is among you a poor man of your brethren, you shall not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother, but you shall open your hand wide open to him. Now, let me start with a truth. One of the easiest things to do in life is to close your hand, to close your heart, close your trust, your consistency, your expectation, because life has a way of convincing you that open hands get taken advantage of. But God says something very different in the text. He says, do not harden your heart and do not shut your hand. That word shut carries the idea of withholding, pulling back, deciding, I'm done giving here. And if we're honest, most people don't shut down all at once. We shut down slowly after disappointment or exhaustion, maybe after doing the right thing and not seeing immediate fruit. But here's what God is dealing with. He's not just talking about generosity, he's talking about the posture, because before your hand closes, your heart usually does first. And once your heart closes, the hands usually follow. And we need to be honest here. Life will test our openness. We've helped people who didn't appreciate it, or we will give effort that won't be reciprocated. Maybe we've poured into things that didn't produce the return that we expected. And slowly, without realizing it, our hearts start to say, next time I'm not going that far. Or if this happens again, I'm going to pull back. I'm not going to expose my true self. Or I'm going to close my hand just a little this time, and I'm going to make sure that I don't get taken advantage of this next time. But God is saying, if you keep closing what I told you to keep open, you will block what I'm trying to release. I have to repeat that because this is impactful and important. If you keep closing what I told you to keep open, you will block what I'm trying to release, because closed hands can't receive anything new. And some of us are asking God for new opportunities, but we're still holding old disappointments. We're asking God for increase, but we've made emotional decisions out of fatigue instead of faith. And God is saying to us, you can't walk in what I've called you to do, or you can't walk in what I've called you to with a closed posture. Let me repeat it. You cannot walk in what I've called you to with a closed posture. Now let's make this practical for us because I think this is important. An open hand represents three things. Trust. God is still your source, right? Obedience. You keep doing what God says even when it's uncomfortable. And faith in motion, because faith that never moves eventually becomes faith that never grows. And this passage makes it even more specific. God doesn't just say, be open when it's convenient. He specifically talks about opening your hand to the poor brother, the one who may not be able to repay you in any way, not this time and not in the future. That means God is often testing your obedience in places where you can't control the outcome. And that's where maturity is truly revealed over time and in those moments, because anybody can stay open when it benefits them. But spiritual maturity is when you stay open even when you can't track the return. Now, let's try to bring this home. Some of us are not stuck because of lack of opportunity. We might be stuck because of a closed posture that is closed to growth, closed to people, closed to serving, and closed to maybe trying again. And God is saying to us today, I can't pour into you what you've closed off. Because the same hand that refuses to give is often the same hand that struggles to receive. So here's the question for you, for me, and for us today. Where did you close your hand that God told you to keep open? Because what you've been calling protection might actually be our own limitation. And what God is calling us back to is an open hand again. Not naive, not careless, but obedient. Open. Because open hands don't just give, they receive. And when your life stays open to God, you stay positioned for what's next, what He has next, and what He is calling you to and to be. So as we close this episode, let's stick with something. You don't lose by staying open to God's instruction. You lose by closing yourself off from His flow. So today, don't harden your heart and don't shut your hand. Stay open because God is still always there and has more in His hand, and He's looking for an open one to place it in. If you enjoyed this episode or it encouraged you or challenged you in any way, go out, like it, and share it, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next episode. Again, this is the Word in Minutes podcast, and my name is Devin Glasgow.